because what they want to do is they want to give the vote to new immigrants faster than groups like Reform can convince the indigenous population to vote for them. So they're seeing that the only way they can stop the rise of Reform is basically to gerrymander the franchise. And think about it, if you are importing tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people each year, legal immigrants, giving them legal residence and giving them the vote on top of that, how quickly do you think that will utterly change the British political landscape? And the franchise is something that our organization has been concerned about from the very beginning. When we heard, for example, that EU citizens were going to be able to vote at the 2014 Scottish referendum, we started to look into this in a big way and to see the dangers of it as well. Imagine in a few years, say if this was to be brought in England, every legal resident gets the vote. Say they brought that in England just at council elections. What are you going to have each year? You're going to have these constituencies are going to have such a high level of churn of new immigrants. The new immigrants are going to be told that party over there wants to deport you. They want to deprive you of your rights. They want to send you to prison. They want to do this, that, and the next thing. All sorts of alarmist ideas will be put into the heads of all of these immigrants, and they're not going to be voting for Reform, are they? So the franchise is a massive issue, and it's being transformed by mass immigration. And I don't see anybody talking about this other than a force for good. We're going to have a couple of chapters of it in our new book. But basically, the solution is simple. We do need to disenfranchise a lot of people who should not have the vote throughout the United Kingdom. We need to have one franchise for the whole of the UK. And we need to disenfranchise lots of people who are not British citizens. They should not have the vote. Only British citizens, only British overseas territories, and only Crown Commonwealth. These are the only people that we're thinking about giving the vote to. Everybody else, sorry. And if you're upset about that, well, you can always go somewhere else where you can vote. It's such a kind of nuanced issue, though, that it doesn't set the woods on fire. In the old days, it used to set the woods on fire, denying the vote to certain categories of men or certain categories of women. That certainly quite literally set the woods on fire. But these days, people have got kind of just used to it, and they're very easily convinced not to even think about this issue. But it's a vital issue, because in a democracy, it's the way our country moves. Our country moves in the way that people vote. And if you're giving the vote to huge numbers of people who have got no long-term stake in this country and who are in and out, who are constantly churning over as well, coming into the country, leaving the country, but getting the vote for the few months or years that they happen to be here, you will transform that country. So we need to make it an issue. We're doing what we can to make it an issue. But tomorrow, when you go to the English council elections, remember, you're not alone. You're not voting just because you're a British citizen. Basically, huge numbers have got the vote. Huge numbers who should not have it have got it. So that's our new rallying cry: disenfranchise people. I'm kidding in that sense, but ultimately that's what needs to be done. There's large numbers who need to have the vote taken off them, because they're going to change the country in ways that is not acceptable, because they've got no long-term stake in the country. They're not British citizens. They should not be deciding the direction of Britain if you're not a British citizen. I would never think about going to a foreign country and demanding the vote without first becoming a citizen of that country.